All right.
You recording?
We are.
Okay.
So I play Final Fantasy
I saw you playing
all
it a
the
lot
time.
all weekend.
All the time.
Every time I jumped on to play some Titanfall or some Last Guardian, I saw you playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out to what extent like MMO fetch quests are better or worse than random encounters. Like if these are all just sort of RPG tropes,
Yeah.
I think that we can look in a clear-eyed way and see which of these things is good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is MMO fetch quests without the MMO, like without anybody else there, right? Like if you're just doing that by yourself.
You know, but then it's all about the system, right? I mean, there was shit like that in Xenoblade Chronicles.
I loved the combat in Xenoblade.
Exactly.
But here's
So
the
I didn't
thing,
mind going over there.
But I just saw you tweet, can someone explain to me how to be better at the combat in Final Fantasy? So you're not rocking it?
Well, though that was actually before I kicked that out after I had sort of started to get it, but I could just see the gulf between me and where it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you would think that it had brawler DNA in there.
It feels like it.
But it's not. It just looks like that.
Mm.
And it makes sense if you switch it to wait mode.
I saw that. I tried that, and I found that very confusing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you should stay there, but what you'll do, and I got this idea from a tweet. What'll happen is that you will enter into that combat space, and you will start. It will give you a second to figure out what's actually fucking happening. You're not going to stay there.
Yeah.
Wait mode isn't like an alternate version, even though it has a whole section in the Ascension grid, right? I don't know to what extent it's worth putting AP into that.
Yeah.
Right? Because it really is just the training wheels. I mean, you shouldn't be by 5 monsters. Never.
Yeah.
You use warp points to get the fuck out. You never want to be there. Unless you're finishing a combo, you do not want to be by monsters at all.
So you're always jumping out and then diving back in and out.
You jump out, and then the amount of damage, so when you warp back into combat, the amount of damage that warp strike does is based on the distance.
Yeah.
So you never want to warp strike from close.
Just felt weird to like get into a fight and then be leaving.
Yeah, but that's
instead of
actually,
looking at the fight, I'm looking away from the fight. Like I actually turn the camera and be like, where should I go? I'm not looking at the fight.
Exactly. So the first thing you should do in a situation like that where it's a real F fest, you should just point away from the fight and hit triangle. So the same way that you would hold R1 and triangle to warp strike, just hit triangle to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Don't do the jump dodge or anything like that. Warp, because you can't take damage in there.
Right.
And if you are warping to a warp point, you can't take damage then either. And if you are calling in your friends for one of the special attacks on L1, you can't take damage there either. So a lot of it is about, it's almost like in a fighting game where there's certain frames where certain things can't happen.
Yeah.
It's almost like that in a way, where you really don't want, it looks like you're supposed to be mixing it up.
Well, that's the thing. Like you get into it and I'm like, oh, I'm in a fight now. But it seems like the first thing you need to do is get out of the fight.
The first example, I mean, is you're not supposed to really be pushing the attack button at all. You're supposed to be holding it. Yeah. That's how you do combos.
Okay.
Haha.
Weird.
Yeah. You hold that down, and then the direction that you are pushing toward or away from the enemy while you're in the middle of this held down combo, the direction you're pushing is determining where that combo loops around inside itself and what special attacks are in it.
So what's keeping you playing? Because you don't play Final Fantasy games, and you don't play MMOs.
I did for a long... I mean, I played Final Fantasy games for a long time. I fell out when I fell out when they left me. I couldn't make sense of 13.
You didn't play 12, though, either, really.
No, but it's because they switched the combat around in 12. So
Right.
12 is all about the lines.
Those weird lines, yeah.
And and setting up like autoplay type mechanics,
Building
on characters.
AI team players, yeah.
Right. And the FF that I played was about menus.
Right.
It was more like there was time pressure, but the menus were, it was basically like a turn-based strategy game.
So what do you like about this one? Because the combat's weird again. I mean, this is not menu-driven combat.
The monsters are, I think that the monsters and creatures and the world is really beautiful. I actually find it aesthetically pleasing to go around in there.
Yeah.
And right now, because I don't play MMOs, the ritual aspects of it I find appealing.
You're not burned out on collecting 15 husks.
Yeah, I don't mind, especially if all that's doing is going to dump XP into my guys.
Yeah.
I'm traveling around, I'm eating at diners, and then I'll get something from a diner that gives my friend an idea for a recipe that he can make when we're camping.
Right.
There's like, there's all these
bizarre.
different.
It was just too weird for me.
It is weird as shit.
Yeah.
But it definitely has some cool. There are definitely cool subsystems in there, and we'll see how far I get. I'm at chapter 5 or 6 or something right now.
It's pretty far. Right?
Yeah, I mean I have, but a lot of that time I spent. It's probably 20 hours in there. I think now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that time I spent just doing quests and grinding in areas.
Have you even gotten to your wedding yet?
No.
Okay.
There may not even, I don't know, dude. I don't want to say anything on the podcast. I mean, who knows? Who knows where that is? I mean, every now and then I'll pass a radio and it'll be talking about the kind of shit that's happening, but that's not on my radar at all right now.
I played.
Oh, but the initial hook, the initial wedding hook, I found very appealing.
I thought that was a neat idea. I didn't want to be in that world. I didn't like that setting.
Yeah.
I did play a bunch of Last Guardian, though. I think I'm right at the end.
Yeah.
I'm just about to beat it. I think I'll probably wrap it up tonight, would be my guess.
Is it flavorful?
It is. I'm just waiting for this gut punch at the end, whatever it's going to be. Somebody's going to die. Something's going to happen.
They're going to beat you up.
Yeah. And it's going to suck because I've got a relationship with this dog, this griffin.
Well, yeah, I have it. And that hasn't even been my active game. Have you heard about Let It Die?
Let It Die. Sounds familiar.
Grasshopper manufacturer. They make a lot of sort of wild stuff.
Yeah, Kiko likes their stuff.
It's F2P. I think it's F2P.
Is he?
Anyway, I'll have Josh throw it on there. We'll check it out. It came out. It was after the PlayStation. All that PlayStation news came out. One of the things was this sort of like super challenging, free action game. It's happening.
All right.
I'm gonna get a hold of it. I really like their weird tone. I'm ready for 2016 to be over.
It's been a real shit show for me.
I think here in a week or so it will basically be over.
Yeah.
And I can go dormant. I can allow myself to go dormant for a brief period.
I need 2017 to start. I need a fresh start.
Yeah.
Like easily the worst year of my life.
I have never, because one hears about this.
Yeah.
Glad that year is over.
Oh yeah.
Right? This
is the first time I've felt that way.
Yeah, I don't detect the ups and downs really at all.
Yeah.
Like my eyes are rolled inside my own fucking head all the time.
Yeah.
I am observing my own observation all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take another month of this year.
Yeah.
This has to stop. Like it just has to fucking stop. It has to be over soon.
Yeah, I agree.
Ugh. Let's see. I mentioned FF because I was looking at this animated GIF as one does.
GIF?
Whatever it's called.
I say GIF because I
don't like me.
Well,
and you want to punish me for something.
I respect that the young people have decided that that's what it's called, and I want to be thought of as one of them.
Listen, honestly, I can get behind that. You want to be in a position to sort of catch that reflected vigor from the young. I can get that. I can get behind that. So we did a bunch of stuff. We were able to capture a lot of our comic ideas. Did we have another Last Guardian idea?
We did. It was the idea that they have actually, it took 10 years because they have created an AI as smart as a dog.
Right. And it's like, and it
kill
dies every time.
But I don't know if he dies at the end, honestly.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, every time you turn off the system.
Oh, it dies. Yeah.
It's reborn.
Yeah.
There might be a Last Guardian strip, I think, in there. Just because it's so neat.
It is really good.
Addictive to watch.
I've been playing it with Noah, has been hooked on watching it.
Oh, he's down with his hound?
Yeah, he is. It's just fun to have a game you can play with the kids and...
Well, yeah, it's so weird to have a game that doesn't involve, like, chewing out someone's trachea. Like, just for example, trachea chewers.
Yeah.
That's a game I can't...
You can't play that in front of the kids.
Well, you can, but then they'll think that chewing on tracheas is okay.
They're gonna get some weird ideas about tracheas. Yeah.
But honestly, I think the idea that it's a game that you can play in the living room.
Yeah.
There is something to be said for that.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like the other game. I love every kind of game, but I like playing games with my family, and having family friendly games is kind of uncommon.
Well, yeah, family friendly games. Well, here you go. Family friendly games that count as games.
Yes.
It isn't. It isn't that there aren't family friendly games. It's that they are bullshit
Yeah.
and they don't rise to the fucking level.
Right. This is an amazing experience that I can have with my kids.
Yeah, and which is novel,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Now we played a bunch of Beasts of Balance. Have you seen this?
Never even heard of that.
It was a Kickstarter, of course, and so it's like Tetris.
Okay.
No, not Tetris. It's like Jenga,
Okay.
where in the middle of the table you have this sort of dais. That's like the basic interaction mode. And then inside the box, you've got a bunch of these different elemental chunks and pieces. They're sort of polygonal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have these like odd interpretations of animals, like little sculptures. And then each of these sculptures has a little symbol on it. And then if you touch that symbol to the symbol on the base, then the app that you're playing on your phone that communicates with this base says, hey, that's a warthog. And then you put the warthog up on the dais. And then now that warthog appears in the world that's on the app. And he's granted a certain number of points because he's there, nobody else is there, he's on land, that's what's going on. You have land creatures, air creatures, and water creatures. And then whenever you put a new creature in, sometimes they get jealous of another creature that sort of has the highest score. And if they're jealous, they lose points every turn.
What's the gameplay?
The gameplay, so that you have Beasts of Balance. So imagine that every piece in Jenga has its own sort of life and statistic that informs this world simulation that's going on in the app. So now I've got him over here. I got my warthog. Now I'm going to put a toucan up in the air, right? And the toucan isn't going to have as many points. And so every turn he's going to lose a little bit of points because of jealousy. So you need to try to maintain balance on this plinth thing.
How do you maintain balance?
You maintain balance by, now I'm going to take a piece of air, a little model, which in this case is pink.
Okay.
And I'm going to put that on the plinth, and that's going to goose him and make sure that he stays above 1 point, because creatures will go extinct if you don't make sure they're cared for. So you're balancing them literally on this thing. You're balancing these strangely shaped creatures.
Watch a video of
And
it.
strangely
So
shaped
you're
creatures.
balancing them like you're stacking them on top of each other?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
if you're also discovering new creatures, because I can migrate creatures from place to place.
So the app, like managing the statistics side of it, seems incredibly boring. But balancing tiny models, is that the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that balance and what pieces you're choosing to maintain that balance here maintains the numerical score balance of the creatures in the simulated world.
So if I need more air in the app, I have to figure out some way to stack that piece on whatever sculptures.
Exactly. And you have some flat pieces and other pieces that are basically like abilities, like migrate, like I say. But migrate is also like this long arrow-shaped plank. So now if I migrate a creature, now I also have this flat plank. Now I'm sitting things on each side of it. Right?
Interesting.
It's weird. It's weird. And it's also okay to move the pieces on top of the plinth. So that's unlike Jenga.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's okay, as long as I don't remove something and change the weight on there too much, it's okay for me to adjust and scoot things around. Which means it's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid play for, Elliot likes it and Ronya likes it, which doesn't happen.
That's pretty rare.
That's not how it works in my house.
We went to Zulu's, the game restaurant in Bothell that we like.
Yeah.
It's funny, I actually saw Eric there.
Landon?
Yeah, he's there with his family playing games.
For real?
Yeah. So we went there to play some games, but we're having dinner and the owner comes over. And
we don't like your kind.
No, he's a super nice guy. I've talked to him before because he goes to the Child's Play charity dinner auction.
Oh, cool.
In the store, he actually has our big magic card that we signed, that great big version.
Oh, for the Avarice amulet?
Yes. So he's talking to me. He's like, I was at the charity dinner, and he tried to win your coffee because he wanted to sell it at his store. He wanted to do a thing where he's like, every month I'll have like some of Tycho's coffee at my store.
Dude, this is fucked up. So Dave has come in here a bunch of times, and he's like, it was really, really weird. I mean, I guess technically it was a meeting, but I was just talking to Dave, and I was walking back here, and then he ended up sitting against the wall over here,
Mhm.
And then I just sat down. There weren't a whole bunch of people in on Friday.
Yeah, I bet.
And we just sat down like in the middle of the hall and just talked about different ideas and different ways to play coffee as something we could do.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, listen, the designers are ready.
They want to craft bags for your coffee.
They want to get branding going. They want to get it fucking rolled out.
Well, this guy was like, in his mind, he's like, I could have Tyco coffee in my restaurant.
Exactly, but from my perspective, I'm like, I know exactly how to do it, and it doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
And the results are incredible. I put together a roast for Kristen because we were just talking on the TweetZor, and because I know that she's got to get up super early. I know that she's got a long drive with the kids to school, and I mean that's what makes like my commute. That's what makes my commute like not a psychological mausoleum. Is having a big thing of hot coffee. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, if you're going to be addicted to something, it might as well be something you can make at home.
That's true.
And so, but I had that, and I was talking to somebody at the dinner from Bungie. He's like, "Hey, we got a coffee club."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, I would love to just put something together for you." So I spent all weekend like putting together these. Like for me, I'm like, "Oh, well, it's so easy and fun. Let me do it for you for nothing." And then, of course, I recognize now that
$14,000. Well, here's the thing that I don't understand, and it's just because I don't understand coffee. Like, you don't grow beans.
That's true.
So, what are you selling? Like, you buy coffee, and then you do something to it. You do something to the coffee that then allows you to say, "Okay, this is my coffee now."
Is the art inside the pencil?
So you're saying that the beans are a pencil?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I don't understand about. I don't get coffee. In my head, you buy coffee beans and then you drink the liquid that comes from like
you
making
grind
them hot. I have no idea.
Yeah. So there's a lot about it. So obviously the bean itself comes from a place.
Yeah.
And is the result of everything that was happening there for the period of time that it took for the coffee cherry to grow.
Okay.
Right? There's different types of ways to process that. Choosing, like, for example, at different times you've used microns. You use a lot of digital stuff now.
Yeah.
Right?
So choosing the bean.
That's the first part.
Step one.
Yeah. Because there's lots of different ways and there's different parts of the world that have completely different, they're different plants.
Sure.
There are different types of coffee plants, bare minimum.
But beyond choosing the bean, the way that you...
Oh, I see. You don't know the failure state.
No.
The failure state is to make something gross. It's like any other cooking.
It's like cooking. Okay.
Yeah. It's a fragile organic compound that I know how to respect.
So somebody could buy the same beans that you bought and come up with a wildly different tasting cup of coffee.
Yeah. So where you roast, like how hard you take the bean, right, is a huge part of it.
How hard you take the bean.
Yeah. So city to full city is like a roast threshold. When you say
you're roasting these beans, what do you have them in?
My device is called a Baymore 1600 Plus. I just replaced.
This is awesome. Okay, so you have is it like an oven?
Michael, so sometimes you ask me questions and it's a trap.
This is not a trap.
So then
I don't know anything about...
In 15 minutes, you'll be like, you stupid...
Well, I'm not going to go 15 minutes, but I'm curious, is this thing an oven?
It is, functionally speaking, this is pretty indie. There's different tiers of enthusiast roasters, obviously.
Okay.
The most basic of which is basically like a popcorn popper. A popcorn popper is called a fluid bed roaster. So the big fan is always agitating the beans, so they never retain long-term contact with a specific point.
Okay.
So they just bounce around in there and they're super hot.
Pop and they come out.
Exactly. And there is a pop.
In a coffee bean?
There's an there's two separate thresholds of audible action in the roast.
Interesting.
And they're roughly analogous to different points on the roast scale. But it has to do with how wet the bean is when you get it. And so some beans don't have one or the other of those.
So, okay.
Yeah. So, the Baymore is basically like a toaster oven.
Okay.
With a rotisserie motor in it. And then I have a mesh cylinder that I put a pound of beans in and then babysit, right?
You keep an eye on it while it's cooking.
Exactly. I know where I like a certain like a certain bean you sort of have to contend with.
Uh-huh.
And I know where I like the coffee to happen.
So you heated up the bean to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then do you add anything to it, or is it just a matter of
It's
exactly
a matter of
when you and what temperature and everything?
Exactly. And then it's very analog. If I can get it dialed in if I've roasted the same bean a few times.
Okay.
But it's very analog when I hit cool and stop actively roasting it.
And then you give that bag of beans to somebody, and they just put
And
it
then
in their coffee machine?
exactly. And then for them, it's exactly like having purchased it at the store.
I see. Okay.
You have to have a grinder, which not everybody has.
But somebody who's buying artisanal coffee beans,
Yeah,
probably has a grinder.
One would suspect. I think that the people who purchase the coffee service at the dinner.
I would hope so.
Yeah, right. But imagine a situation there. Imagine a situation where, because I know local roasters, I could get access to an industrial roaster if I wanted to. Imagine a situation where.
Are you talking about scale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not weird at all.
Would your practices carry over, though?
Yeah, because what would happen is that, so like my drum roaster, there's a badass version of that. There's like a Humvee version of my drum roaster. And having seen them and messed around with them, I'd have to learn some of the basic stuff to control a device like that. I would definitely need help, but that would be the next thing.
Okay.
It'd be like home brewing as opposed to like manufacturing beer.
Talking to this guy, like he's ready to have Tycho Brahe brand coffee in his shop.
God, it's so weird. Wouldn't that be weird?
It would be weird.
Wouldn't that be weird? Like if my 10-year, like my weird 10-year hobby ended up being like a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be weird. That's how all this shit fucking happens.
The things that we like to do.
Just find some weird ass expression.
Yeah. Well, if they want to do something, maybe we should do a test with Zulus and like, hey, you can drink Tycho brand coffee.
I would love that.
I think that might be fun.
Yeah, I mean, if we could talk about like how long it was acceptable to keep a certain bean.
Yeah.
Like if we could just get some practices established.
Yeah.
God, I don't know. It was really, really wild. I didn't expect it to go crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Like I just seen that go to 14K, which like as someone like I don't like coffee. I go and I drink a Starbucks coffee if I need to wake up because it tastes like chocolate.
It's a tool.
Yeah. But to see that go for 14 and then to go to talk to this guy and have him be like, "Oh my God, I want it in my store."
Yeah, I don't know. Dave would be so heartened to hear that.
Yeah.
That would be ammunition for him.
Yeah. I'll tell him when I see him.
Yeah. I don't know. In my mind, I'm just imagining myself like Willy Wonka, like at the the helm of this big device.
If you really like doing it,
I do like doing it.
There's no reason we shouldn't just make that one of the things we do.
Yeah, we got to get over to maritime.
That's the point I'm at in my life.
What?
Do what you want to do. You're already doing it, and you love doing it, and people like it.
Yeah, I mean, historically, these have all been indicators.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the other things that I like to do, Michael, is to create comic strip.
What?
That's a
shitty segue.
Well, it was not the best. But it's still true. So, we had considered a Last Guardian strip a la...
Tell your friend at Fantasy Flight that I need accessories. I need something to hold my dice. I need dice boxes.
Have you seen inside the box?
That thing is garbage.
It's filth?
Yeah. That's like a press form, flimsy plastic. I need something to honor my dice.
Do you want something that looks? You know, what would be great.
You're talking about the plastic insert that comes with the starter kit.
No, but I was just impressed that they designed it in such a way that it could hold more dice. I was just
it can hold more dice, but it can't hold any more cards.
Yeah, it's not for cards.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about how. Like, imagine something that looked like a saber
hilt,
like a saber hilt.
You untwist the top and then dump your dice out. Yeah,
because I have some really nice ones.
Yeah.
Like my mom settled on that as a gift, and she got me a really, really amazing like Revan.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. But but obviously the form factor of the game they've created is new, and so
you have cards and dice.
Yeah,
and they're big dice. I went and got when we were at Zulus, I picked up card sleeves, so I've got Kylo Ren card sleeves now.
You know what would be amazing? A Wormwood deck box. And that is going to sound like a fucking promotional thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
The only reason I know about it, you could do dice in one of these.
It's just not big enough.
Yeah. That's not it. I don't think that's the right one. I think the one that you want is
I mean, you're gonna have a lot of dice in a deck. Got what, 6 or 7 dice, probably easy.
yes, but the decks in this game are not big.
30 cards.
Ha ha! Here. Just bring it. Just don't get choked. Don't get choked by the microphone. But take a look at the Sentinel deck boxes they have. So take a look at the Sentinel deck box, my friend.
Can you
Look at this?
What that looks like inside? You know.
Oh, down here it's just a wide open dice box, but it has the deck box up on top with the leather strap, and then it has the fucking dice box on the bottom.
I'll have to do some research.
I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I don't know, and they're cool. That's a solid crew over there.
Oh yeah, they make great stuff.
Made a cool donation to Child's Play for the Crokinole board. What happened to Russell Wilson?
Oh, they had a pretty bad game. That was a real nightmare. I don't know what was going on. He threw like 4 interceptions. Although the 4th one was Baldwin's fault, I think.
That's really scary. Like I never thought about the game
when they just take it and run the other direction with it.
He
doesn't do that very often.
It has to be so scary, like that position.
Quarterback, yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
In a second?
In 1 second to read what's happening with, a dozen other people where they're going.
But again, it's like then when you throw that first interception, I think it gets easier to throw them.
Oh, I think so.
Then because you still have to act, but you don't trust anything that you're saying.
Right, but you still have 1 second to make a decision.
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
You're right.
Well, yeah, but it's just a mesh between, and I don't know anything about football, obviously, but it's a mesh between the sacks and the interceptions. Like I think all of that is a part of a single.
They beat the shit out of us.
Terrifying ordeal.
And we were missing Earl Thomas. Like I don't know how much you want to get into the weeds on that, but
you may be surprised to know that I know who Earl Thomas is.
What?
Yes. Have you ever seen a Fast and or Furious movie?
Mm-hmm. They're pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, they must be. It's like when one of them went direct to video, I was like, okay. Generally speaking, that has not been a good turn for a franchise.
To go to direct to video and then to come back to theaters is pretty crazy.
At this scale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a modern epic. Like this is like our Beowulf.
It is. This is our Odyssey.
You know what I mean? Like this is, if the Odyssey were written now, it would look like the fucking.
Yeah. This is are you talking about the fate of the
Yeah,
Furious
exactly.
I haven't watched that yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I haven't seen any of them. Like not even one.
They're very good at driving cars.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good at it.
Yeah, it's like, do I need to?
I don't think you have to start from the beginning. I don't think you're losing a lot. Like if you just want to jump into this one.
It's like, what would you describe as like the vital canon of the Fast and the Fast and or Furious?
Furious. I think Rogue One is also coming out this week, isn't it?
Yeah, the 16th.
16th. That's exciting. Did you follow any of Gary's pictures from the red carpet premiere that he went to?
I retweeted the first one, I think. No. The one I retweeted was of the writing room.
It's really weird. Like, I mean, we have friends and stuff who are famous, I guess, but to see Gary in that situation, like here's this person that I know and am friends with, and he is on the red carpet for this premiere, like taking pictures with all these celebrities and.
Yes.
It was really cool, I think.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild to see. Yeah, we exist in a very strange place.
Yeah.
Culturally. Oh, sometimes people tweet me and say, hey, I love the sound of your keyboard on the podcast. And it occurred to me that I could let them know how they could secure such a thing.
It's a Razer, right?
Yeah, I had a different Razer before, but this is a Razer. I switched to the Chroma because I'm a sucker for fucking LEDs.
Yeah, the light up stuff is cool.
It's too good.
What it does with, like, when it's customized to work with a specific game, it's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah, we had it set up for Overwatch.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't even do anything.
I didn't do anything. It just worked.
No, and it's like your power-ups and everything. Atlas Reactor does some different stuff. Like
Dub Wars is good, too.
Yes, exactly. It's another way for people to goof around, right?
Yeah. All right, we need a fucking strip.
Oh, I agree. I had to let Josh know that we're wrapping up the podcast. If he's sitting there waiting for us to come in and do first 15.
Oh, is it 11:30 already?
Yeah, it snuck up. We were talking about non-strip things.
Let's see. So this weekend I played basically Titanfall and Last Guardian.
Yeah, you got an early start on the Titanfall.
Sunday morning. Well, Gabe had a sleepover, and they all slept in, and I had to get up early with the puppy.
Oh.
So I just sat down there and played Titanfall all morning. It was nice.
Yeah, it sounds all right.
That puppy likes to get up around 5:30.
Yeah, it's just that's where it's at right
which
now.
I think is way too fucking.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett has kind of a sixth thing sometimes.
Yeah, it's rough.
But if I do it, if I commit to it and come back in,
Yeah.
he'll usually go back to sleep too. So
Yeah.
I never know. It's like the baby thing. It's like you never
a baby.
know.
It's like having a baby again. Yeah.
You never know if you're supposed to do that or.
Should I put you back down, or do you want to play now? Are you awake?
Yeah, I can't play.
No, I'm tired.
When it's dark,
No.
There's another person.
You lived with me. I'm not a human being until it's light outside. Even then, I'm struggling.
And I was surprised. I remember being surprised. Like I thought I knew you pretty well. I probably knew you as well as anybody knew you.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the extent to which you were not a person. You know what I mean? Like I remember I would go into it's like, oh, he's in the computer room. That must mean that he is a person and is available. Right? No, that's not true.
Don't talk to me.
Because I would try.
Yeah.
I would talk to you about things that, generally speaking, you're interested in.
That doesn't even work. No.
No.
I need time to warm up.
No. Do you remember that time Brenna was over and you had that box of cookies and we were like seated, we were sitting on the floor eating cookies out of this box and like making comics and like joking about stuff and just rolling around on the ground.
Sounds kind of familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it happened more than once.
Probably.
Yeah. I think that we may be unlike other people in some key ways.
I think so.
Not the cookie thing. I think cookies are
universal.
Yeah, I think everybody has a different type of cookie.
Yeah, Kara went on a baking sort of binge or whatever this weekend that resulted in some amazing treats for me. It's a good time of year.
God, I got loads of tips in my loads of Final Fantasy tips.
Oh, tips?
Oh yeah, tons.
Is there a comic in it? Like
there might be. Some people have completely different ideas about
how to be good at that
like,
game.
Like, oh, great swords, that's the key. And it's like fucking never use great swords.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what you're supposed to do with that.
Yeah, but I think that's it. I wonder if it's sort of like, listen, I asked Twitter for help improving Final Fantasy 15. I finally put together a list.
Yeah.
Thanks, Internet.
Great swords are the best. Never use great swords. Like, can you do?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's how you do it.
4 or 5 more of those.
I could do a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Internet.
Well, it's like when you're trying to fix your fucking computer.
Oh yeah.
It's like or if you're trying to diagnose the red spot on your neck.
Right.
It's the same. It's all the same.
Never go to the internet. Oh, there was the other thing about Last Guardian that came up that I had an idea for. It's a very weird idea. I think that there is something about video games. There's this thing that I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's had this happen to me, where someone comes in and they want to help you with the puzzle, but it would take longer to describe to them the parameters of the puzzle.
Oh, dude, that's a great comic.
Than it would, just to get their help, I would have to spend, like, okay, well, this is my Griffin dog. We were just sucked down this well, and he can only interact with him by jumping up and down or pointing. And I'm pretty sure I need it. Like, it just.
I don't care that much.
Yeah. You know what? I'll figure it out.
But also, it could be, you can do that comic from either way. It's like either a person has to explain it and the other person can't devote this kind of time.
And they come in and like, well, have you tried to use that elevator? And it's like, well, those elevators only work if there's like, dude, I've been playing this game for 20 hours.
Yeah, you don't know.
You're not helping.
Yeah, so there's two directions. One is the Last Guardian.
Yeah.
And the other is the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I'm fine with you can do the Final Fantasy one for the
Tips.
podcast. We should finish that, but
Yeah, let's do it. And then we'll do the Last Guardian one next.
Okay.
So
in an effort to become better at Final Fantasy, I went to Twitter, asked for some advice. Yeah, how'd that go for you?
how to improve. This is advice from Twitter about how to improve at Final Fantasy 15 and keep potion suckling to a minimum.
Okay, did you get some good tips?
Did it help?
Did it help at all?
What I learned was that great swords are great and also bad.
Are the only weapon you should use and also should never be used.
They are both the only weapon you should use and a weapon to be avoided.
At all costs.
Weight mode, because some people are talking about weight mode as like training wheels. Some people are saying, hey, use weight mode for this. And I've certainly read online where it's like you use weight mode for boss battles and then you don't use it for anything else.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Yeah, I learned that.
No, weight mode is vital and worthless.
It was both vital and worthless.
Also, I should be using one of 3 different control schemes simultaneously.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and someone called me a butt nut.
I wonder if... I think this might just be Tycho talking.
Talking to the camera?
Yeah, talking to the camera.
Okay.
Because he's just like...
Thanks, Internet.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is... I solicited advice from Twitter about how to improve at Final Fantasy 15 and keep potion suckling to a minimum. What I learned was that great swords are great and also bad. They are both the only weapon you should use and a weapon to be avoided at all costs. Weight mode is vital and worthless. Also, I should be using one of 3 different controller schemes simultaneously. What I'm trying to say is, thanks, Internet.
Thanks, Internet. Yeah.
Oh, when I cast the pot, it's like I cast the rod, keeping it hard like a motherfucker gas robot.
I'm reeling cod, today's fresh catch. I mean a podcast, something about nets.
Yes, it gets better when it's winter. I'm fettered by my fish gear, catch and release, get in that crease when my fish near.
Talk about a plant best laid off that stray. And yes, I crave that tuna with his peck fin splayed. But while I'm glistening from the whole sea, you better listen into TLC.
I got that wild caught salmon. It's tender and it's moist.
Downloadable content, a podcast of choice.